Hopefulness 2.0 Day 1. Yes, I'm changing the title yet again. Here's some more sourdough starter. Yeah, I know. I figured 2.0 I kind of liked anyway. And since it's March 1st, screw it. Start laughing, then you get a cough. So, gotta clean a couple things. All of this, by the way, all of that is what is necessary for me to make my version of spaghetti sauce. Put you there, put you there, put you over here. Just dump you out. Yeah, I'm one of those guys who just like puts everything in a soak. Largely, and it's not even like because I think it's the best way. I know it works. That's one thing. The other thing is, I get so damn forgetful that it's better than it just kind of like sitting there drying up. And I know in doing so it can cause problems. I'm aware of all this stuff. Do it anyway because it's literally better than the alternative because I don't have a dishwasher. Still trying to figure out what a job situation could be. I've even considered restarting a Twitch again, doing just chatting all the time and seeing what that does. You might as well try it, I guess, right? I don't know where it'll go. I don't know what I would talk about. I could talk about anything. I could literally talk about anything. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'll have all the information that I need to talk about it. That's why, internet is a great thing in many ways. But, yeah. I've even considered sort of taking on this mantle that I created on TikTok. So I was thinking of doing some content on TikTok because it was short form and everything. But short form content is actually pretty hard. It's like, I don't remember who said it. Author. By the way, all of that's clean. All of it. I just haven't put it away. Yet. Because I'm still trying to figure out how best to do that. I mean, obviously, starting on it in some way or another is probably a good way of doing it. But that mantle on TikTok I was talking about is success tips from a failure. And one might say, well, why do you call yourself failure? Well, because everybody's a failure, especially if they're successful. I just happen to be more of a failure than a success, that's all. And in doing so, having that information, I at least have that perspective to work on. Damn it. I hate these stupid things. This is like having a shower that has, the switches, but worse. Because the flow is also measured in another direction. And I feel that this version of it's not very well designed in that regard. Oh, sure, it looks nice and everything. And it's simplistic. But it's not the best way to go about solving. It just creates more problems. The nice thing about this specific pan is that it's pretty easy to clean. You know, stuff rarely ever gets stuck on it. It's anodized aluminum, which is really helpful. It's something like, I don't know, maybe $30 on Amazon, maybe less. I can't really remember. It's been a while. But ever since I bought it, I was like, okay, this is a solid fucking pot. I like it. I like it a lot. I like this pot a lot. It's so stupid. It's whatever. Maybe I'll even title this specific episode Success Tips from a Failure. And, you know, if I'm going to do that, I might as well provide at least one. So when I got discovered, when I say discovered, I mean that like legitimate story that you hear about all the time. Some person was doing a thing and then they got discovered, you know. Sure, it wasn't like just some random happenstance at like, you know, a coffee shop or something. Granted, I had a situation like that when I first came to LA. But it wasn't discovery, it was, I was at a coffee shop and someone mistook me for Chris Pratt. I didn't even know who he was at the time. I'd never seen the show. I'd never seen Parks and Rec at that point, so I didn't know who the hell he was talking about, who he was talking to. Dude was really adamant about it. And then when I finally got my coffee and I saw him, I literally walked over to him and showed him my license. I was like, I don't know who you're talking about, but I'm not who you think I am. And apparently there was like this table that, and it was literally the table that I ended up sitting at, because it was the only table that was available this spot. I think it's Solar de Cahuenga, off of Cahuenga, and I want to say it was Franklin? I believe so. Anyway, really nice coffee. I liked it. I learned a lot of things about myself, especially like I liked cappuccinos, but they had too much foam on them, and so I wanted less foam. Stupid. I didn't realize the fucking issue. Lattes are what I prefer, because I don't really like all the foam that a cappuccino has. I felt like an idiot when I found out I was like, oh god, I'm such a moron. I don't think I went back for like months after the fact, because I used to go often, and then I'd be like, well, I feel like a fucking moron. Let's go ahead and not be a fucking moron at this place again for a while. Gosh. What the problem with this handle is it is on super tight. Like, I mean, get it, you don't want it so loose that it, you know, the moment you pick it up it just like slips, but at the same time, you know, it's whatever. But anyway, when I got discovered, some of the pieces of information that I received from the gentleman who was my mentor for a month, they were solid pieces of information. And it was effectively a form of networking that he was trying to train me on. You know, one thing was like, if you're going to go downstairs and get a coffee, offer to get a coffee for somebody who is, you know, in a higher position of status. You're ass kissing. And the reason why you're doing that is so that you're in their, you're putting yourself on their radar more frequently. Now, I was never really in a position to do that because 9 times out of 10, I never worked with my supervisors at the same time. I was always working late hours. Um, when you're working midnight to 5 and they got off of work at 5 p.m., you're not going to see them. So it didn't really work out that way. Now, I did have conversations with people of different departments and stuff at certain times, but I never did the whole, offering people stuff. And I didn't have it in my head. I didn't truly understand the point behind it. And this is one of the things that I find that most people who offer advice fail to understand and fail to do, is the why behind it. And also the likely reactions that you'll get. So even if you offer somebody that you'll get them a coffee, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get one for them. It doesn't even mean that they're going to accept. What it means is you're thinking about them. It shows that you're being a team player. It shows that you're thinking beyond your own needs. And these are good things to have. These are good qualities to have in general. Now, it's difficult for me to do that because I'm regularly in a position where I have to focus on my needs because I'm in survival mode. And that's necessary when you have to be. And so it can be hard to make that switch. To go from that sort of selfish survival mode and turn it into something different. Turn it into that sort of team player mentality. Because, you have to be selfish. It's just the triage thing again. Once again. There is a certain level of selfishness that one must possess in order to survive. So, it's and it can be inconvenient for many things. But that's essentially what networking is. It's communicating with people in various ways. And it seems manipulative, and a lot of times it can be. Eat a banana. Big ass banana. I gotta figure out where my can opener is. I think it's over here. Let's see. No. Probably in this mess. Okay, let's see. I have a third, a quarter. I don't have a quarter of a cup, which kind of sucks. I don't know if it ended up going missing or something. But I have a third, half, 2/3, and a cup. But I don't have a quarter of a cup for my measure. And I don't have a tablespoon either. Okay. Can opener. So yeah, networking is important. Kissing ass is important. Depends on sort of the method that you go about, I guess. I'm gonna change shirts. I'm hot. So weird. One day it was nearly freezing, and then yesterday it was 82. And I'm gonna wear this shirt some more because I didn't wash it yesterday because I forgot. But you might feel wrong doing the ass kissing and stuff like that. And it's probably because you're in a similar situation to where I am, where it's difficult to sort of switch from that self mode. I'm gonna check something real quick. What's the size of these? These are 15 ounces. And this one is 8 ounces. Okay. So the next time I only need to buy 1 can of tomato sauce because I have those 2 small ones that I thought were paste. I've had that happen a number of times now. And it's always been, I mean, like, yeah, the word sauce and paste, they're kind of obvious, but I mean, like, it's so fucking similar. You know, that's probably part of being older is, you know, just kind of like thinking of something that you think you need and then it's whatever. Right? Toss a couple of these bags since I don't need half of them. But yeah, so the idea of, if you will, the kissing ass is kind of a big deal. Especially if you want to get ahead in life. And it kind of sucks. It feels wrong. But a part of that is sort of one's nature in dealing with certain things. And part of the banana didn't want to completely go down. Here we go. I don't know how much this can opener was. I want to say it was like 15 bucks. It was a really good can opener. It's the safety type. So it doesn't create like crazy jagged sharp edges like other ones. I mean, you know, you still got to be relatively careful because, I mean, you're dealing with can pieces and stuff. But it's not like, again, it's not crazy sharp or anything. Alright, that one's down. One down, multiple to go. Because I'm going to make that sauce. I don't have a whole lot the other left, but that's going to be what I'm going to eat later today. Because it is just after 12:30 in the afternoon. I was having weird issues trying to sleep. I don't know what the deal was. Because like yesterday I was getting kind of bored. Stayed, you know, I just kind of stayed in bed for a little bit. I wasn't really sleeping, I was just kind of dicking around. I even re-downloaded an old word game called Word Brain. Word Brain. That I used to play all the time, especially when I was homeless. One of the things that I would do was, it was later on, but I would start documenting the words because like you get like a block, right? Let's say it's, you know, 16 total letters. And there's 3 words in that block, if you will. And you have to use up all the letters to make all the words. And there's 3 specific words in each level. So it's totally easy to go online and find them all if you wanted to. But, you know, I wanted to re-download it and all for the Brain Teasy thing. Because, like, Wordle's been interesting. And so, you know, I've been doing the Wordle thing. I wanted a little bit different. Something else. And, and I had seen on my phone, I've got a notepad app, and on it, I had put down a lot of the 3-word combos. Now I didn't like label them for what the levels were and everything, because the point was, and I had labeled the actual notepad, it's 3-word stories. Oh, that felt good. Because I was at one point trying to write. I was trying to do all kinds of writing and stuff. I don't remember why. But I figured they could be used as basically like writing prompts. And, you know, since I had seen that, again, on the phone and everything, and I was like, you know what, maybe let's try that again. I don't know. I mean, I don't know where I'm going to go with it. But that's something that happens to me every now and then. It's like, I find myself in a position, mentally, whatever, where I need to sort of exercise something. And, you know, sometimes it's literal exercise, sometimes it's exercise in my brain, whatever. There's a success tip for, you know, from a failure. Exercise your brain, your body, whatever. Obviously, if you can do them both, that's great. You know, don't beat yourself up if you can't, or if you haven't been, though. There's no point. Beating yourself up doesn't do anything. It doesn't solve whatever the problem was, for one. It only makes you sort of recoil from yourself. This sauce is going to be much better than the last one. That is for certain. Because I have bay leaves, I have tomato paste, I have like all of the ingredients that I normally put in this. I'm only going to put Tapatio in it instead of the mustardy sauce that I have. And the reason why is because I'm going to put in some crushed red pepper flakes. I don't need it to be too hot, too spicy. So I'm going to not make it too hot or spicy. Stove at some point because it's getting pretty nasty. All the fucking frying and shit. Oh, fuck, back. There's also another thing too. It's like this isn't my normal bed. I'm sleeping on a big ass like queen, this really stiff bed, and. I mean, you know, most of the time I sleep fine, no big deals, but occasionally it's just like, ugh. You know, the sad thing is, I was talking to my therapist yesterday because I forgot that, I even mentioned it in the video. I was like, I'm going to have to talk to my therapist soon. Thinking it was going to be like a week later or something, but it was literally yesterday. Told him about the fact that I wanted to be like a stay-at-home husband. Because, like, in a situation like that, it means all my needs are taken care of. All the basic needs are handled. That just means I get opportunity to do this stuff. I didn't even mention to him. And I don't even know if I mentioned it in the video yesterday. But like, I wish I'd been able to take home ec. I think I did mention it. But like, that's when they, right about the time that I wanted to take it, a lot of various programs were starting to get shut down in schools. I also wanted to take metal shop because one of my friends was like in it, and he really liked it. But then when I decided to try to take metal shop, the school that we were at wasn't providing it anymore. The only school that was providing it was literally across town. So that, that sucked. Oh, fuck. Damn it. That helped a little bit, not a lot. Damn, that thing is fucking full. But yeah, so success tips from a failure. Learn how to do the at-home stuff. Like, learn like simple, easy ways to clean around the house. Obviously, I'm trying to tell you this stuff and I don't have the actual piece of advice. And that's part of the problem with advice givers, is often they're not giving you specifics. And I try not to do that, but I don't know all of the answers. I really don't. I don't know the recipes to everything. I wish I did. Let me repeat that. I don't know the recipes to everything. I wish I did. It'd be super nice if I did. If I had the recipe for how to clean out your microwave, how to, the quickest way to wipe down your countertops, etc. The quickest and easiest way to mop your floors and such. I wish I knew that shit. And while my Google Foo is pretty decent, it's not that great when it comes to stuff that I don't know about. Like, you could be like, how to network on Google, and there's going to be so many sites. And part of it is simply just getting over your shyness, which in of itself is an entirely different thing that needs to be done. Because what are you doing when you're networking? You're communicating with people. You're face to face with people. You're putting yourself in a position that you are not comfortable doing, hence your shyness. My last girlfriend, she was great at fucking networking. She's married now, which, is not surprising. She knows how to communicate with people. She's a journalist. She's doing marketing now, I think. And it's like some people just have that thing. Oh, sure, I have the gift of gab. I can talk about anything. But my biggest flaw is that whole selling yourself to somebody else thing. What? A great example. During my incel days, before incel was even a term, and before it was, oh shit, what it is now. But I was very much a lot of what those kids are. I was this person who was so distressed all the time, not only couldn't get laid, but, I was always thinking women had to be, it's all fucking stereotypes. It's like, women only want bad guys, blah, 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 all this other victim bullshit. And it was none of that. I was wrong. Just like they are now. You have to be able to sell yourself to people. You can't sell yourself to people. Nobody knows who the fuck you are. If they don't know who you are, they're not gonna want anything to do with you. Like, if you've ever seen a product and you don't know what the fuck that product is,
Are you gonna buy it? No. Now, I know that I'm using transactional phrasing and we're dealing with people and emotions and shit like that, but I'm using it for the sake of analogy and understanding. If people can't understand who you are, you cannot persuade them to seek you out. You are not giving them enough information to pursue you in anything beyond just a person who can talk to. Because like I was gonna say, when I was younger, I had a lot of female friends, but I could never get a girlfriend. I could talk to women all the time, but I could never go beyond. So I was afraid. I was afraid of rejection, even though they accepted me in one way. But I was afraid that they wouldn't want anything beyond that. And so if they were attracted to me, there was no way for me to know, because I manipulated my conversations to a point to where I never gave them an opportunity to understand if I was attracted to them. I never let them know. And when that is a vulnerability of yours, it's hard to overcome it. Same thing goes with everything else. Forging new relationships requires vulnerability. And if you're somebody who's shy, chances are there's reason for that. And often that reason is because of how you were raised and friendships that you had along in life or the lack thereof. And so overcoming that can be very difficult, but you can't overcome it by not doing the things that you have to do. You have to do them and potentially fail, but also potentially succeed. And I don't like people who say, oh, you must be afraid of success. Nobody's afraid of success. What people are actually afraid of is not knowing what to do with it. And someone might be pedantic and say, well, that's what they really mean. Well, then, I'm sorry, you need to be more specific. Nobody's afraid of success. And that's the thing about, again, people giving advice most of the time, is that they suck at it. They suck at communicating it. There's a guy in my guild, EverQuest, right? He's an officer of the guild, so he has various responsibilities, his various privileges and whatnot. But he is poor communicator. Like, when it comes to strategizing, when it comes to trying to communicate certain ideas to people, he is so bad at it. And it's like, dude, you suck at this part of your job, which isn't really a job because it's all, volunteer crap, but and like, who's going to tell him that? Nobody. His friends aren't going to tell him, especially because they're not going to tell him in public. And then if you tell him, then he's kind of the guy who's going to get, kind of moody. Because it feels like this is my interpretation. This is my interpretation. But either A, and this is a common thing I've found amongst many people who are very bad at communicating. They're results driven, and he's very much results driven, where he's like, let's do this thing. Let's do this thing, let's do this thing, let's do it. He'll browbeat it, and he won't do anything else, and he'll basically, in essence, it's like throwing a tantrum. The more that I tell you to do this thing, at some point, you're just gonna be annoyed by me and do the thing that I want you to do because I know this will work. The problem is that is not good strategy, that is not good tactics. Communicating the step-by-step process is more important overall. Now, a lot of times people won't do it because A, they don't know. They don't know. There's a success tip from a failure. A lot of people don't know the A to B process. They're doers. They're not thinkers. And so as long as they just start doing a thing, then they'll start to know what needs to be done. A lot of times, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, period. Now, the problem comes when you've done the thing multiple times and somehow you still can't communicate that information. You can't process what has been done and then figure out how to spread that information to other people. You have been successful numerous times at this same fucking action, yet somehow you cannot communicate what needs to be done by others. That is a poor leader. But there are people like that in leadership roles all the fucking time. And it's infuriating to anybody who deals with that. They just want you to do the thing. They don't want you to ask questions. And the reason they don't want you to ask questions is because they don't fucking know. They just know that if you do this, this, and this, then it works. But when you understand the whys and the hows and how it came about, when you understand the fuller picture of the thing, you have a better understanding of what you're doing. You have a better understanding of why you're doing the things that you're doing. Those are results-driven people. And I would say this is probably one of the reasons why I was having a hard time when I got discovered, is because this gentleman has been in the industry for a very long time, but he did not explain beyond the things that he was telling me to do. But for some reason, a lot of people don't do that. And I've explained at least some speculation on my own behalf as to why some people do that. A lot of times they just know that's what works. They don't know why it works. And if you know the why, here's the most important part about it. And then I think I'm going to end it here. If you know why a thing works, and then that thing doesn't work, you can then re-strategize. You can take a different action based on the foundation of the why. And you can also use it in other aspects of your life. It allows you to be less specialized. Specialization is for ants. That's a Robert Heinlein thing. If you can understand why a thing works the way that it does, you can adapt when that one thing doesn't work that one time. And that will give you an edge over people who don't understand the why. So, understand the why. And as always, have fun.